Do you want to start a blog? Hi there, my name is Brian Collins and I'm an author and blogger from Ireland. And I'm guessing if you're watching this video, this isn't the first time you've asked yourself, how can I start a blog? Or should I start a blog? Many people who ask these questions think that they need a lot of technical skills and expertise to start a blog, and they procrastinate and they put it off. The good news is you don't need a lot of technical skills to start a blog today. It's quite easy to do. In fact, it's so easy to do that many traditional media outlets don't want you to start a blog, because if you get really good at building up a relationship with your fans and with your readers, then in a way you'll become their competition. But if you have a message that you want to share with your readers, with your customers and with your fans, now is the time to start your blog, because it's easier than ever. And if you're worried that it's going to be a little bit difficult to do, well, I'm here to put your fears to rest. Let me explain. Let me tell you a little bit about my blogging story, and then I'll reveal how you can start a blog step by step. In 2013, I had what I thought was my dream job. I was working as a press officer for an Irish charity, but the job wasn't going that well. And after I made a series of mistakes in a report, including some typos, I was let go from that job. I suddenly found myself with a lot of free time on my hands, because this was during the global recession and there wasn't much employment in Ireland. And during this free time, I wondered if I was any good at writing, if I would ever find meaningful work again, and how I was going to get myself back up on my feet. But because I had a wife and 2 kids, I had to spend some time looking for work online, and I spent hours applying for jobs on various websites. But when I wasn't applying for jobs, I started to procrastinate. I read blog posts by the likes of Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income, by Joanna Penn from The Creative Pen, by Michael Hyatt, by Tim Ferriss from the 4-Hour Workweek, and by all the team at Copyblogger. And what I found was that these were all hugely successful blogs, and they were all run by people who had built up relationships with their readers and with their followers. And the people who ran these sites had complete control over their blog. They managed all the content that was there. So even though Pat Flynn and Michael Hyatt and so on were active on social media channels like Facebook and like Twitter, all of these social media channels pushed people back to their blog, where they had complete control and where they were able to build up lasting relationships with their readers. So I decided I would do that too. So I spent hours teaching myself how to code, how to learn HTML and CSS, because I wanted to build my own website where I could connect with people, just like the people that I had on screen previously. But I didn't need to do any of that, because there are lots of great platforms that you can use to start a website pretty quickly, like Tumblr and Weebly and Squarespace and so on. But after a bit of research, I found that the number one blogging platform people use is WordPress, because it's so easy to use, it's so powerful, and it gives you complete control over the relationships that you have with your readers and with your followers and with your fans. So after I invested a small bit of money in setting up my self-hosted WordPress site, I started to earn a passive income from my blog, and I was able to pay back my expenses quite quickly. But more importantly, I had a portfolio of work, of blog posts that I was able to point to, and this portfolio helped me get hired as a copywriter for a large technology company. But perhaps best of all, when I started publishing my work and building up relationships with my fans and followers and readers on my home base, I started to get emails from people. I started to get emails like this one here from Beth, who described how the posts that I had written, the posts that I wondered were any good, had actually helped her become a better writer. And this kind of validation helped me decide that blogging was for me, and that blogging was a pursuit that was worth the time it takes to succeed at it. So if you're interested in setting up your self-hosted WordPress blog, I'm here to tell you it's really easy to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it step by step. Okay, before I show you how to set up your blog, it's important to understand that you'll need just 3 things. The first is a domain name, so that's the address that people type into their web browser to visit your blog. So for example, people who visit my blog type in becomeawritertoday.com. The second thing that you'll need is hosting. So this is where your blog or website lives, and I'll talk about some great hosting in a moment. And the third thing that you'll need is your blogging platform or tool, which is WordPress, which I've already talked about. And if you use the right provider, you can get all of these 3 things in one and simplify setting up your blog for the first time. So let's dive in. There are lots of great hosting providers that you can use to host your WordPress blog, but the hosting provider that I recommend for new bloggers is SiteGround. And I recommend SiteGround for a couple of different reasons. Firstly, they provide excellent support. So if you do get stuck with starting your blog, you can just message them on live chat. Secondly, their services are geared towards anyone who wants to run a WordPress site, which is perfect for bloggers. And thirdly, their prices are affordable, starting here at €3.95. That will change to dollars or whatever your currency is, depending on where you access the SiteGround site. And it's also really quick to set up a self-hosted blog within SiteGround. You can do it in less than 2 minutes, and that's what I'm going to walk you through once we take out an account. So the great thing about SiteGround is your domain name comes included with your web hosting. Now, I almost always recommend that new bloggers pick a domain name that's a .com, but that said, you could go for .co.uk or you could go for .me either, but .com is quite easy to find and it's what most people are familiar with. The downside of using a .com domain name is that it'll take you a bit of work to find one that's suitable. So what I would recommend is to consider the topic that you're going to blog about. So let's say that I was going to blog about becoming more productive. I could set up a domain name called becomemoreproductive.com. Or let's say I'm an author and I could set up a domain name with my name followed by author. And that's something a lot of successful authors do online. Now it's going to take you a few goes to find a domain name that works for you. So spend some time doing a bit of research. And in the guide that comes along with this video, I get into a bit more details about how you can find a good domain name for you. So once you've found one, you go ahead and register your domain name. And then SiteGround will ask you to put in your order details and your credit card and so on. And once you've done all that, you will get an email with your login for SiteGround. And then you can take the next step and you can set up your WordPress blog. And I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Okay, so now I'm going to show you why I really like SiteGround for setting up a self-hosted WordPress blog. When you register for your SiteGround account, they'll send you your login details. And when you log into SiteGround, you'll see a dashboard like this. And all you need to do is click on the Setup in 2 minutes button. So I'm going to click on the Setup in 2 minutes button here. And then it'll ask you for a few preferences. So you just click Blog. And you're going to pick WordPress, and then you just click Proceed. And then you just pick a username and password. And you can pick a WordPress theme from here, or you can install a premium WordPress theme, which we'll talk about in a moment. So I'm going to show you the premium WordPress theme, so I'm going to skip this step. So let's just click Submit. SiteGround will then take a moment to install your site. Once SiteGround has installed your site, it'll give you your details. So here is my admin URL. So all you have to do then is go and open your admin URL. So I'll just paste that here. Okay, so once your site is installed, you want to visit your site and see what it looks like. So I'll click on this URL. And there's a placeholder image here, and there's some placeholder blog content which we'll want to change. So we need to log into the site and customize it. So SiteGround will send you an email with your login URL and your email and password. But the login URL is normally /WP login. So if I click on that, and then I'm going to put in my username and password. Okay, so this is the back end of WordPress, and this is where you can write your blog posts, customize the look of your site, and do all of those exciting things that bloggers get to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is to change the name of my site because it's just called My WordPress Blog. So just click on Customize Your Site, the big blue button here, and it'll open up a nice little menu where you can make some changes. So let's click on Site Identity. I don't like My WordPress Blog, so I'm going to call it Become a Writer Today Book, because that's the URL that I picked earlier on. And I'll just say practical advice about writing a book. Okay, and then I'm going to click Save and Publish. Okay, so the next thing that I might want to do is to replace this image here of the pot. So maybe pick something that's more relevant to writing a book. So I'm going to click on header media, and you can upload a video or you can upload an image. So I'm going to upload an image, and I'm going to do that by clicking add new image, and then I'm going to click upload new image, and then click select file. So much like if you're uploading something to Facebook. And here's an image I downloaded earlier of a typewriter. Take a moment to upload to WordPress. Obviously you can use a tool like Canva to create a custom WordPress image either. And I'll click select and crop, and I'll click crop image, and WordPress will fit it into the template. So now I'm going to go see what my site looks like. So I'll click reload, and you can see here it has the image of the typewriter, it has the name of my blog, and so on. But perhaps the theme doesn't look quite right. It looks a bit strange because there's images of sandwiches and so on, so it's not really something aimed for bloggers. So let's go change that. So I'm going to install a new theme, and to install a new theme I go to appearances and then themes, and then I'm going to click add new. And there's lots of different great themes that you can pick from, and you can click a live preview button to preview what any of these themes look like. But there's actually one here that I know from earlier that's quite good for blogging, and that's Inception. So I'll click activate. But before I do, just to say, if you buy a premium theme, you can just click upload to upload your premium theme. So let's click activate for Inception. And now let's go visit the site and see what it looks like. Okay, so it's looking a bit better, but I've lost my image of the typewriter. So let's see if we can change that. So I'm going to click add new image, put back in the typewriter, and then click crop. And oh, great. So now I have the image of the typewriter. I have the headline for my blog. Now I'll click save and publish. And the last thing I want to do is to publish my first blog post. So click the X here. Then I'll click on the W button to go back into WordPress. Okay, so to publish my post, I'm going to click on posts, and I'm going to click on add new. I have a post that I wrote earlier on saved to my clipboard. So I'm going to paste that here into the text editor. It pulls in the image as well, but if you don't have an image, you can just click on add media and upload your image like you would as if you're posting to Facebook. I'm going to give it a headline to find ideas, and then I'm going to click preview and see what that looks like. So we have my typewriter, we have the blog headline, here is my post, there is the image, and I could probably do some tidying up so that this is stylized as a quote, but perhaps it looks a bit strange over the image. So let's take it off the quote, and let's make this a headline so the post is a bit easier to read. And now click preview. And obviously that's a bit better to read, but once I'm happy with the post, yeah, it looks okay to me, at least for an early draft. I can click publish, and that's it. Once you're able to publish a post, then you're officially a blogger. The last thing that I want to talk about is why SiteGround is a great solution for bloggers. So at the start of the video, I talked about the technical challenges of blogging and how there really isn't any today. But if you do run into a technical problem or you get stuck, SiteGround have great support. So you can access their support in the back end of SiteGround. So I'll just click on support here, and you can ring them up on the phone. You can use live chat, or you can raise a ticket, depending on what your issue is. And I've used all of these support options in the past, and they've been really quick to get back to me, and they've solved lots of problems that I maybe would have spent hours trying to figure out myself. They've done it for me, and I'd highly recommend their support. And there you have it. I hope you can see how easy it is to set up a blog today, to set up a blog and to find and build a relationship with your readers and with your customers. So now that you've finished watching this video, I want you to do one thing. I want you to open up your web browser, Chrome or Internet Explorer or whatever you use. And I want you to go to your hosting provider of choice, and I want you to start your blog today. Because if you'll do this, you won't regret it. If you've got any questions, there's a detailed guide that goes along with this video, or you can send me an email. But the key thing is that you take action and that you start your blog today.